This is Archangel Michael, here to answer whatever question that you have for me, to share with all those who would benefit from any sharing of knowledge around it. And I will endeavor to do the best that I can for each and every one.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for joining us and being open to answering our questions. The question we have today is, what is the value of having boundaries?
Boundaries are very, very important in the 3D realm, for although all things technically, or we would say in truth, all are one, all are connected. However, in the 3D realm, it is important to set up personal boundaries for yourself, for if you neglect to do so, it is very easy to be taken advantage of, is it not?
That's true, very true.
We would say there are different types of boundaries that you would set up for yourself. These are energetic boundaries, boundaries around who or what, and by who or what we would say which types of people you will allow into your life, into your space, who or what you would allow into your consciousness. For your consciousness will dictate how you operate within this earthly realm. It is important, therefore, if there is any kind of, we'll use an example of information that you feel is designed in a way that is not in your best interest, that does not resonate with you. You may, of course, take it in initially, for it is an open mind that has room to grow. But if such information conflicts with your inner values, then it is information that you may then place outside of your boundary and simply reject. This does not mean rejecting reality. It means rejecting those things which are, we would say, which are potentially harmful or would put you in a disadvantageous position. Does this make sense so far?
Yes.
For example, we would say it is a good thing, a wonderful thing to open your heart and to help, to help and to want to give to those in need. But when it puts oneself in a disadvantageous position, when it puts oneself in a energy deficit, we would say, then it is time to place boundaries. This does not mean you close off your heart and your well-meaning, but caring for others begins with loving and providing for yourself. For if you do not do so, if you do not put yourself first, you are an empty vessel to any others. And there are others who indeed will use that giving nature and use it against you. Does this make sense?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
It is in this way that you develop discernment. You develop discernment on who and what you allow into your life, what your limitations are in terms of, I will do this, I can do this for you, or that for you. But there is a limit. There is only so much that I am willing to give. For going beyond that is not helping you anymore. It is not helping me. It is putting me at a disadvantage, at a deficit, and it is not allowing you to grow, meaning you, the receiver, to grow on their own merit. You see this? Does this make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
There are those who are genuinely in need. And even then, one should remember that you may give of yourself without spending one penny of your money. In fact, in some cases, if you donate to another thoughts of love, and we mean in this case unconditional love and good wishes, goodwill. This may seem like nothing, but it is an energetic gift. And in many ways, it will help the receiver, the other who receives it, just as much or more than if you had given them your money, your finances. And this energetic gift, this well-meaning, well-wishing, unconditionally given gift, when it is given, there is no feeling of perhaps I am giving away my last $2 that I maybe cannot afford. So even at times when one gives financially to another, there are times when that gift is given with reservations, with energetic stoppages. Does this make sense?
Yes.
That stoppage is the feeling that you are giving something that perhaps you cannot afford. And if indeed you cannot, then it costs no money to wish to send love, goodwill, and highest and best energy towards that individual. And it is given freely, it is given easily, it need not be known about. You may do it. You may do it without even anyone knowing that you have given it. And you may feel that I have done nothing. It may feel like turning on a fan, a house fan, in the middle of a tornado. There is no effect that is happening. But we say this is different. The energy is received. It is received by the other, whether they are aware of it or not. And it does affect them, whether they are aware of it or if they are not aware of it. But it is a gift, is valuable, in fact, more valuable than $2 or perhaps $100. $1,000. Not to say that there are not earthly needs that those who may ask, who may genuinely be in a bad situation in terms of, or should we say, a situation that may be perceived as negative, where they are indeed starving, or perhaps they have children that are starving. So how can you determine what is real and what is false? Is someone really doing that? Are they doing that out of true desperation? Or are they doing so to tug at your heartstrings, to tug at the heartstrings of many, to perhaps cash in, so to speak, on the feelings of others? That is up to you. This also returns back to the subject of discernment. And there may be times when you have made a mistake and have mistakenly given some money to someone who then you come to realize did not need it. Perhaps they laugh as they leave, as they flee, but your intent was still positive. You still gave with the best of intentions. This is noted as well. This is acknowledged in the realm of spirit, and it also is a lesson. Placing barriers up, or should we say boundaries. For a barrier may also be harmful if you close off your heart. And there are times when it is necessary if someone is undergoing severe trauma to close a part of themselves off. So this is not always a negative, but when it remains long after the trauma is no longer a threat, is no longer around, it becomes a block. And a block will create blockages within one's energy field, which may then manifest in a physical ailment, which may manifest as an energetic stuckness that may make moving forward in life more challenging. So there's the discernment of, am I placing a wall or am I placing a boundary? A boundary is a healthy method of creating one's space so that one will not be violated by another. And it is not only about another's violation, but the boundaries that you may place on yourself in terms of, do I really need to buy this thing that has caught my eye? And there are times when you may treat yourself and spend the income on something that is purely for pleasure. But if it is something that is not truly necessary and you are possibly in, say, a financial pickle, as we would say, then it is necessary to place a boundary upon yourself, upon what you will expend your resources to have. And there may come a time when you may remove that boundary when these issues will be rectified and or they will be resolved and you will have a good flow of income. We are just using money as an example, for money is an energy. It flows in and it flows out. And you may control in many ways those things that are not truly of necessity. Those are the things that you have control, whether you allow your outgo to be expended upon that. Does this make sense?
Yes, it does.
There is much that can be discussed around the subject of boundaries. There may be boundaries upon, besides the boundary that you may set up, that may limit access to you by people who would take advantage of you. There are also boundaries in the case of personal space, and we point out that this may vary with different human cultures. Some cultures have less personal space than others. It is the intent. And we always say that there is the energy of forgiveness, but when you are in the 3D realm, there are many energies that you must contend with. And we would say that it is vital to be aware too of when one is possibly violating your space in a threatening manner. And this is important that you maintain your personal boundaries in such a case. Or you may be related in spirit and may be one with all beings that come from Creator. But in the consciousness of 3D, there is a requirement to maintain boundaries in these cases, for not all will share your awareness, shall we say, of these spiritual connections and respect for each and every higher aspect of each being that is in incarnation upon the 3D realm. Does this make sense?
Yes.
So we would conclude that you may place barriers, or not barriers, we would say boundaries, personal boundaries, a line in the sand on those things you will do and those things that you will not do that might violate your free will or may violate the free will of another, may go against your morals, your beliefs. And be aware of the difference between boundaries and barriers, walls. And as we said, in some instances, walls, energetic walls, and otherwise, may be required in certain instances. But energetic walls that remain long after the threat has passed, and when the barrier, the wall, is no longer needed. It is important to be aware not to allow such barriers to solidify within one's heart. This is our suggestion, but it is your free will on how you will view it and how you will use the suggestions that we have given here today. I am Archangel Michael, and you are blessed and you are acknowledged.